What's going on? It is Friday night. Got my buddy Graham. What's up, Graham?
Hey, what's up, man?
Oh, just it's a great day. I know we were talking, Graham and I were talking earlier about um, whatever you have going on in life. There's those things that just kind of give you energy. And for me, and I think this is starting to be kind of for Graham too. It's actually going live, and it's doing having fun conversations with fun people. That just kind of fuels, and it can fix a bad day. It can make a day great, whatever it is. So we just thought we'd have a conversation. So yeah. So what? You see, you're up in Alaska still, right?
Yeah, man. Still up here in Alaska.
Yeah. What's the what is it like doing the whole um, sun thing? Like it's dark.
Yeah, I mean it's dark, but as long as you get out and go do things, like that's the biggest thing. I think people that have lived up here a long time have figured that out. Like you just got to get out and go do things. Don't let the weather stop you. Don't let the sun stop you. Just get out and go. And people who come up here, maybe they have a short stint up here. They're up here military. Like some people figure that out and some people don't. Yeah, and if you don't, just go out, find something to hike. If you don't do that, then yeah, you'll see the inside of your house. That's it.
Yeah, I know totally. I mean, I think I like that because that's really everything that we've learned in the last couple of years. Is we all maybe we all got a version of Alaska life where we had to kind of stay home and had our own version of darkness to like not go out and about, and that
Yeah.
feeling of like excitement once you did start going out again, and the energy that gives you. Say what's up, Jim. Uh, if you don't, Graham, I'm gonna connect you to Jim. He's a great guy. I was just on his show yesterday. Um, I think it's called Doing Work. Work does. Jim. I just forgot the name. I know the episode launches in 2 weeks, so I'm a horrible person. Um, just you can delete the episode if you need to, since I forgot what it was called. But Jim's a great guy. He's big on the LinkedIn stuff. I know you're
Yeah.
getting more and more into that. I met Jim through. Did you saw a few weeks ago when I did the 10 posts in 1 day challenge?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jim was in that group with me that was doing that. So we really pushed ourselves to do, and it was a lot.
Yeah. That would be challenging to actually not just share something, but to actually come up with original content that yeah.
In 10 in 1 day, like,
Yeah. It's a
and we
lot.
did it. We did it in a way that was challenging, as in a good way. We had to do an article, we had to do a meme, we had to do a GIF, we had to do so it wasn't
Oh,
just
that
like
is tough.
yeah, a video. So it definitely brought a different element to that. And it's kind of what we were talking about recently. Um, but you said you've been kind of going live more and just kind of getting that repetition in.
Yeah.
How's
Yeah,
that
because
for you?
well, it's just that, like you said, like just starting to do it. Um, that whole 10 posts a day that you're just talking about, like which one of those took you out of your comfort zone? Did any of them?
Um, the comfort zone was I didn't get any work done that day.
Yeah.
um, the biggest thing I think was the article,
The
and
article.
so because while I can write, I haven't written in years
Yeah.
because I guess I think maybe I'm weird. People say I'm weird for this, but video is very easy for me.
Yeah.
And so, like the videos, the lives, all that stuff, I can do that without even blinking. But like sitting down and actually putting down words, because then I get in my head. When I do this, I can just go and whatever happens, happens. I
Yeah.
can't, I can't unsay it, and I'm okay with that. But the whole like writing something up is like, oh well, I'm gonna reword that. Ah, that's gonna change that. So like
Yeah.
I have learned recently as I've been kind of writing again. Um, to write like I'm going live.
Oh yeah.
I just kind of start and I don't let myself use the backspace, and I'll edit and clean some things if I need to when I'm done. I just
Yeah.
go and I just do like a whole thing. And then it stops me from getting in my head of like,
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. I like it. Yeah. The with me going live and that, like, I guess that's where I asked, like, did any of those like take you out of your comfort zone? Were they something that you don't do normally? Because for me, like, that is like, I'm an okay public speaker. I know a lot about what I know a lot about. But once I sit down and I try to have this conversation about something that I'm really familiar with a person, I'm good. But once you put it out, like, there's an audience now, like, that gets a little bit tougher, like, I'm an expert at, like, okay, let's sit down and talk about design thinking. But if you put me down as in an interview in that type of environment, now my expertise may be like, you start to have a little bit of, and I think that probably happens, no matter how big your expertise is, that you have a little bit of imposter syndrome that sneaks in. You have a little bit of like comfort of environment. I don't know the questions that are going to come. Do I look, and so like, I took a lot of your advice and just started doing the live thing.
I love that you said that, because on the whole imposter syndrome side. But before that, I want to say hi. This is AK. What's up, AK? Need to resync with you. She's awesome. She's like one of the most badass Marines I've ever met. And we both know Chloe. Chloe, I think, would agree. AK's in the Chloe level. They're both freaking badass. So what's up, AKs? Anyone else out there joining us, let us know you're there. We don't know you're there unless you comment. We're just having a fun conversation tonight. Just figured, because why not? We could. And but I want to lean into kind of the topic we chose of kind of leaning forward and kind of being ready when the opportunity comes. And I want to speak to what you just said of that imposter syndrome. A lot of people, like, I talk to a lot of people at every different level across Department of Defense, across the entrepreneur world, and even extremely successful people. And I even got to be in a room with a couple billionaires last year, and they have imposter syndrome every single day. And they are billionaires. Like, they are extremely successful in whatever they do. And so I think that imposter syndrome, everyone has it. Everyone, even the most successful people in the world, have it. The difference is that success, in my opinion, is you overcome it. And you understand how to use that either to your advantage, or you don't let it affect you. Because I mean, going live, I have imposter syndrome every single time I make a post. I'm like, is this right? Is this wrong? But I've learned to turn that into a moment where it's a quick moment. I just know how to work through it instead of like push it aside and bury it where it comes and bubbles up later.
Yeah.
But that, to me, that goes along with the being ready kind of stuff, because those opportunities are going to come all the time. There's opportunity in front of you, no matter who you are, where you're watching from, what you're going on in life. There are opportunities, and you may just not see them, or there's times you're not ready. Like a couple of years ago, I want to use one quick example. I started getting into this circuit with a bunch of entrepreneurs, and this friend of mine, and I'll real quick say hi to Stacy. What's up, Tracy? What's up, Tracy? Welcome. But as they started talking, one of these guys is a speaker coach. And I was like, okay, yeah. And I've spoke before, but not like on a full stage with thousands of people. And as it kind of went down that path of being a paid speaker, I got major imposter syndrome, and mostly because the opportunities came, but I wasn't ready for them. And had I been in a different state of mind, I would have done it and failed, which I would have learned from. But the coach I was working with, he said, well, hang on, pay attention to what these stages are, these speaks are, these opportunities are, and know what you need to do to be ready next time it comes. Maybe it's not this time. And so for me, and that's this topic I want to go on tonight, is that being ready doesn't mean like you just say yes to everything. Sometimes it does, and there are moments you need to, but being ready is just like learning. Having that like ability to just like, okay, let's try it. If it fails, it's okay. Because then when those opportunities come, it's like, oh, okay, I am ready for this one. Or I'm not ready for this one. Or I am ready for this one. What are your thoughts on that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think like that allows you to choose. If you're talking about jobs and that, like, it allows you to correctly choose when you're going to leave money on the table, right? Yeah. Like, out of the benefit for the client, out of the benefit for yourself, you've identified a learning opportunity you can go and do. But but it is that it's opportunity. Like, man, last night when we all hopped on our mastermind and we were
Oh, yeah.
talking with, like, we brought in a guest, and this guy has done, he's a startup founder, and he's done time in prison, and like walked us through a lot of like things that he's had challenges with and things that he's been, he's trying to solve problems in the world that he's trying to solve, and the advocacy stuff. And like, that was a whole house of crap that I'd never even considered, never really thought about. But because of that opportunity, like I could actually talk about that. Like I can now go and I can talk about his business idea. I can connect his business idea with other business ideas, which ultimately, like for collaboratively, like I'm in a space now where I can connect people. We can create a community of people who want to create something together, and it hopefully grows us all. But yeah, so I think opportunity, you said it best, like find the opportunities, right?
Well, and I want to ask anybody that's watching, I want to ask a question, and feel free if you have questions, please ask them. I want to ask anyone that's watching right now or later is was there a way, let's see, how do I ask this? I gotta, blah, 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 blah. This was clearly not planned. He texted me like 40 minutes ago. Let's go live. I was like, all right. Like I said, opportunity. Let's just
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
So a good question I want to ask the audience is, how do you prepare for an opportunity? So how do you prepare so that you can be ready when opportunities come? Because a lot of the time, so if you got an answer, if you got a thought that others can learn from, please throw it in the comments. Because a lot of the time, for me, in my experience, you don't always know what the opportunity is you need to be prepared for. And I think that's most of the time. I mean, there's not like an exact, we use our buddy Chris's example of roadmaps. You don't really always have, you can make a roadmap or a plan for what you want to do, but that doesn't mean you know who you're going to run into at the store or at the thing or at a conference and so it's, how do you prepare for something, or anyone out there? And this is for you too, Graham. How do you prepare for opportunities when you may not know what the opportunity is?
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
Oh, yeah, I have thoughts. Yeah. I know. Is anybody else dropping their comment in?
I don't know, not yet. We'll give them a second.
Right on. Give them 8 seconds.
You give them 8 seconds, like Ride 'em Cowboy, 8 seconds,
Yeah.
like a rodeo.
um,
But yeah, because I think it's interesting to see, like, especially as a lot of people I think know my story the past year, or those who do. I couldn't have told you that I was going to end up on the side of a freaking NASCAR. Like that's not something that you plan, but it was but now that it's happened, I can go back and tell you all the moments of why and the conversations. And it was just me saying, sure, let's chat. Sure, why not? Yeah, let's do coffee. Yeah, let's do a Zoom. And so it's now I can backtrack and like map of all the moments that I took to seize that opportunity. But at the time, I couldn't have prepared for it. So, oh, here's a good one. When the moment of truth arrives, the time for preparation is past.
oh man.
Yeah, that's heavy.
Yeah. I think like that also says like take every opportunity that comes then,
Yeah.
And I think that's where I go. Like, if an opportunity comes and I can afford the time, I'm going to do it. And if it's something new and I'm interested, right, it's got to at least interest me. But if I'm interested and I have the time, yeah, I'm going to do it totally. Like, if I have the, I don't know, this is the most recent thing I started doing. I don't know.
Well, let's talk about. So we've got one of our side projects together, and I say one of, is this kind of this fun podcast conversation that we started having, and it actually became. It was this idea that our friend had of just, hey, we all talk individually anyway, and let's just start talking. And we thought the podcast was the way, but it became this thing. One, I mean, there were some times where we couldn't figure out that we actually pushed the record or not, and then there's some other times it just went down a rabbit hole and maybe shouldn't be a published work of art. But I think we seized the opportunity because we could have quit. We could have just said, "Hey, no, this isn't working," or let's just power through. But we actually pivoted, and now it's become this mastermind. And I'm not going to tell any of you guys about it. You just have to guess because it's our
Yeah.
new little adventure we're working on. This kind of mastermind of like helping each other work through each other's problems. And like we did this with you a few weeks ago, working through some stuff you're doing with your business, and we did it with my stuff a couple weeks ago. Last night, like you said, we had that guest on just kind of impromptu to see if we could help him out. And that I think is a perfect example of an opportunity that we could have just said, "Oh, this isn't working out. Let's stop," but we didn't.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think you're right. And if we never would have started,
Yeah,
if we wouldn't have, started that podcast and started doing that and meeting every Thursday, yeah, we wouldn't have wound up where we are now.
no, and now I mean the podcast was fun, and I think there's a couple episodes out there in the universe of drunkenly agile, but I think, and I think you stand on this too, is the mastermind kind of on accident that we've created is way more valuable, at least to us internally. And I think has value to others as we start to expand it to different things too. And like you said, we wouldn't have, I was never, I mean, this was like what, like last September, October when I think we were at a hockey game or something when Chloe blurted out that we should do this
Yeah.
or she was talking to you. Um, there was never the idea of like, let's get a mastermind together and solve each other's problems. It's like, no, we're friends. Let's just get online and shoot the shit once a week. And it became this thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, and I think it's going to continue to evolve, right? Like, because of the more of the opportunities that we find as individuals, and then we bring that back to our teams, we'll continue to do that. Like, has anybody listening or you, Matt, like, have you had that yet where you can trace back something really great besides the mastermind, or anybody else that's listening that you guys want to share, like something really great that happened in your job or whatever, that you can actually think back and go like, oh yeah, that did happen just because I took these couple of opportunities, like learning how to do one thing in particular maybe wasn't valuable to the end result, but because you took 3 opportunities, they made this thing. It's like,
Yeah, I mean, I can do that with. I've been actually practicing that, kind of as like a gratitude thing in my journal, or every few months I kind of look back and say, okay, where am I now, and how did I get here, so I could better understand how. Because I don't plan like anyone else. Anyone that knows me for about 10 seconds, I'm not the planner that other people can follow my plan because it usually doesn't make sense. It's usually whatever's in my head at the moment and just kind of fires off. But before I share the rest of that, I want to answer one of our audiences because they jumped in here. So I think in response to you, Graham, she thinks of it as interior design, that you take and collect snippets of designs as you walk your walk. And when you have the space to implement your craft or antique, you seize the opportunity. I
that's
like it.
good.
Yeah, that's good. Told you,
Yeah.
AK is freaking awesome.
AK, you got to turn that into a post.
Yeah.
If you don't, I am, and I'm going
If
to quote
one of
you.
us is going to, if you don't, AK. or
No,
AK,
yeah,
AK, if you turn that into a post, we'll both share it
yeah.
because that's really good, and I like that, and I think it really is that life of taking those snippets. That makes me think of like, I mean, people do this. The what's it called? Your vision wall, or your what is? I'm losing the word. Vision board.
Yeah.
Yeah, vision board or something where you like get pieces from like a magazine. I think we all did this in like junior high and high school where you like make a plan. It wasn't called a vision board then. I think it was just called like planning or something. And you take all these little clips from magazines and like make your life. This is what your life's gonna be, and that's what that example reminds me of. And she said we can do it. She says she's not gonna post, and we can do it. So we'll come up with something, AK. We'll give you credit because that's pretty good.
There you go.
Yeah. So I mean, I've got it. I think for me, like I was saying, I've been really trying to pay attention more to that, and I'm gonna kind of use AKs a little bit and kind of call it snippets. Try to figure out how did I get to where I am, so that I can continue to get to where I want to get to. And it's not like I don't have a fancy roadmap. I don't have vision boards. I have vision brain. And like I can see what I'm doing. And I got sticky notes like you do all over the place. Um, but for me, it's so I'll use the NASCAR example. I used it earlier. Um, for those that don't know, I was on the side of a NASCAR. If you're watching, you can see that's my face. Like if I didn't have a picture of it behind me, I probably still wouldn't believe it. It's become a great conversation starter. But how that happened, like it wasn't like I couldn't even spell NASCAR when that like this opportunity came up, and it wasn't like a dream thing. Like I'm going to be on a NASCAR one day. I'd never even been to a NASCAR race. And so I barely knew it existed. And I was like, I'm from the West Coast. And so I like knew people in the South turned left. Like I didn't know what it was. And I was very wrong about that and ignorant in the fact of what actually goes involved in it and being involved in the pits and stuff. But I'll talk about one of the opportunities for the NASCAR stuff that we've done is the first race we ever went to. And so I'm writing, I think Graham, you know about this, or he probably told you I'm writing a small book on this called Black Pants. And it's because it's literally seizing that opportunity. It's the perfect story for what we're talking about tonight. And not just buying black pants. I mean, I have lots of black pants.
No, this is great. Yeah.
You're laughing.
Yeah, because I knew you told me a story about black pants, but then it just hit me what the story was. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good story.
And so we're this as this NASCAR opportunity comes into play, which was because of a friend of ours, Lisa Kipps Brown. We just started having conversations about like what we were going to do next after I left the government and new careers and things. And that led to this NASCAR team that wanted to put a veteran couple on the road. And so as we're trying, and we're like just blown away by all this, as we're doing this, they invite us up to a race up in Michigan. And because again, we had never been around the sport. So of course, never being around it, we got to go like the best experience ever and hang out in the pits, which was super cool, which I'm going to explain. And so, but the night before, we were actually at dinner with the race team, the driver, the owner of the team, all the mechanics and stuff. And this huge night before dinner called a sponsor dinner they do. And as we're having this, Lindy and I were sitting next. Lindy's my wife. Those that don't know, we're sitting next to this guy named Mike, and he's a mechanic on the team. And everyone was like enthralled with the driver, with Colin, because like he's the driver. He's so cool. Which he's not. He's only a couple miles from me right now. So hopefully he's not listening. He'll come over and we'll roll and tumble about it. But he knows because I gave him the same crap when I first met him. I was really interested in the mechanic side and like how they do everything that they do. Because again, in my mind, all the driver does is drives left, right? And again, I was wrong about that too. But because sometimes they go right
to get into the pit.
Yeah, well, the pits are on the left.
Oh,
if it's a road course, or they got to go around somebody, but there's way more. There's way more to driving than just going left. I've learned that now, and like I couldn't do it safely without dying at the speeds he goes. That's for sure. I can say that I have never gone 200 miles an hour, but my face has. So that's about as probably close to 200 miles an hour as I'll ever get safely. But as we're sitting in this dinner, this mechanic we're talking to, Mike, we instantly connected because he's a former Army. So it was either Ranger or Sniper or something cool in the Army. So we connected military veteran background. And we're kind of joking at dinner, and the dinner's kind of coming into an end. He's like, "Man, you got black pants?" And I was like, "I got jeans." Like, what do you mean I got black? Like, that's a weird question to ask somebody. And so as we're having this conversation, he's like, "No, like you black pants." I was like, "Oh, then you can't help us in the pits." I'm like, what? He's like, "Oh," and I didn't really lead into it. I was like, "Oh, okay." And they were giving me crap, like, "Oh, maybe you can hold the flag tomorrow." And I just totally felt like they were just giving me this whole like, here's the new guy. He's one of the VIPs, so we're going to just rag on him or whatever. And so we leave the dinner, and I turned to Lindy in the car, and I was like, "Hey, we got to go to Walmart." She's like, "Why?" I was like, "I got to get black pants." She's like, "Why?" And she's like, "Because I heard that if I have black pants, I can help in the pits." I'm assuming it's because it's part of their uniform. And she's like, they're not going to let you. She said, no way. Like, they're just giving you crap. I was like, but I'm not going to be the guy that shows up not in black pants if they are serious. There's a 99% chance they are giving me crap and they're pulling my chain. I am willing to spend $17 to be ready in that opportunity just in case. So we go to Walmart. I find the black pants. I'm laughing because you're laughing. I find some black pants, and they were like the only black pants I could find were like suit pants. So I'm like so I'm wearing these like Giorgio Armani type style khaki black suit pants, and a business casual in the pit of NASCAR, right? So we get there the next day. We go in, and we had an issue. We underestimated how long it takes to like park and like get back to the pits. So we had VIP pass, but with it was like a 1.5 mile walk because the track's freaking huge, right? We can't just drive in the middle. And so as we're doing this, we get there, we show up, we're like an hour late, and the dude sees us, the mechanic sees me, and he's like, "What the hell? You're late." I was like, "I got stuck in because they're like this whole joke of me helping the team out." And he looks me up and down. He's like, "I thought you didn't have black pants." I said, "No, you said if I had black pants, I could help in the pits." He's like, "No, I said that you can't because you don't." I said, "Yeah, I solved the problem."
No, I solved the problem.
Like I seized that opportunity, just like we're talking.
Yeah.
And so he's like, "All right, come on." And he lets us walk around. And when I say help in the pits, for any safety people from NASCAR, I didn't actually do anything during the race. It was just like they were just showing us some stuff. I didn't, and I was careful of that. I told them, I was like, because they were like, "Here, carry this, hold this." I was like, don't let me get you disqualified. I appreciate it, but like, don't let me do anything. Tell me what not to do so I don't accidentally screw you over.
Yeah.
And because that would not be good. And so we got to go around and walk the whole testing side of the inspection of the car before it goes onto the track. Because there's a whole like they're very strict on cheating and where your car is, what it weighs, what things are shaved down to, how the screws are in. They X-ray the whole thing. And as we're going through this, we get to walk this path, this inspection section. And this other mechanic they were pushing the car through, and so it's just me and Lindy. The rest of the VIPs that were there for that race, they're all up hanging out with the driver. Like I said, everyone got infatuated like with the driver. And so like, he just goes left. I'm going to go hang out with these guys. And as this is happening, one of the kids is pushing the car. He's also kind of dragging this toolbox behind him. I was like, "Hey, can I, like, you're struggling to push and drag that. Can I, without dropping it, can I help without getting disqualified? I don't want to mess anything out. Just can I carry that box for you?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." So I start carrying this box. And then a few minutes later, that same kid who's named G Baby, this is his nickname, he drops a hammer because they actually use the hammer as the, what's that word? Chalk for the car, for the wheel. Every time they stop to chalk it so it doesn't move.
Right.
And he drops the hammer, and the lead engineer looks at him. He's like, "G Baby, come on, what the heck?" He grabs the hammer and hands it to me. He's like, "Here, intern, you're in charge of this." So now I've been elevated to the intern, right? So I'm all because of the black pants. So now I'm the intern. I am sure they are making fun of me later that day or behind my back, but I didn't care because I was like, when will I ever be in the pits of NASCAR freaking carrying around? I don't care if I look stupid. I'm just doing this.
Yeah.
And so I'm like walking around. I'm now the intern carrying things, really not doing anything that affects anything really.
Yeah.
But it was making my day, right? And as we go through, the car gets on, it passes inspection, it gets on the track, and we kind of get back to the trailer because they've got a trailer with this lounge area while you're waiting for all the things of the day. And we go back and we're talking to the rest of the VIPs and the driver and stuff. And the driver's like, "Where you guys been?" I was like, "Oh, we were working with. They got to walk us around the inspection, and I'm now the intern. I get to carry stuff." And he's like, "Oh yeah, you got the pants, you got everything." I was like, "Yeah." And I kind of made a joke, and I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I just all I'm missing is a shirt. I'm practically full part of the team." And within like 5 seconds, this shirt comes flying down. It hits me in the head, and it comes down the hallway of the trailer. And the mechanics had heard me talking and they grabbed into their cupboards and found a shirt and just threw it to me. So I was like, let's do this. I put this shirt on and I've got photos of it that people online, people can have seen.
Yeah.
It's a Toyota shirt. It's their team shirt or whatever. And as we're doing this, the mechanic, I put it on. Mechanic's like, hey, dude, what are you doing up here? I was like, I'm just sitting. Like, what do you mean? What am I doing up here? He's like, no, this is where the VIPs sit. You're part of the team. Come outside and sweat with us. Like, you got to come down where we are. He's like, all right. I was like, I look at my wife. I was like, you good? She's like, go. I was like, I'm out. So I went and helped him. And I say the word helped again. I didn't really do anything that could affect the race of the car or anything, but I got to learn all about it. They told me all about how the tires work, the air pressure, how like the heat, the wind, everything affect the pressure in the tires they put at the track. And I just got to really get a kind of behind the scenes look of all the things that go into it and all the actual things. Like, again, like I said before, my understanding of NASCAR was that he just drove left in like some hillbilly contest, but it's not that at all. The science behind it is absolutely amazing to watch and be a part of. And that was a really cool experience that never would have happened that way had I not gotten the black pants. Had I not seen something that everyone else at the table was like, "You're an idiot." My wife was like, "Why you don't need whatever?" I was like, "Hold my beer." Like, okay, challenge accepted. And there's more parts of that, but that's for me. Like that's what we're talking about tonight is that leaning into whatever that opportunity is. Just be ready. Had I not worn that, I probably would have had fun. I probably could have done a couple things, and so and part of the black pants things was because, and I can share now because the season's over because it was last season. But during that day, because of COVID, everyone had grid passes, which means the VIPs, we could go on the grid to do like the national anthem and start your engines. Well, about an hour before the race, that all got pulled. And that I got pulled because of COVID. Because this was last August. So the height still not going, COVID goes like this. So that all got pulled. But I'm out there in black pants in a team shirt. No one knows that I'm not a part of the team. And so as everyone else is getting ushered, even my wife, back to the pits, I'm just standing out there on the grid holding this air tank like, da-da-da. This is awesome. So I got to stand out there during the national anthem. I got to stand out there while they did the start your engines, and it became this whole cool thing that I never would have experienced had I not went to Walmart and bought black pants.
That's awesome. Like as you're sitting here telling that story, I'm thinking about my own and realizing like, oh man, this goes even further than just like lean forward into things you're interested in. Like what I said at the beginning, like I got to be interested in it. Man, I've got a whole story about how I was not interested in helping this person at all because I was in a hurry. I had to go do things. But because I went and helped him and we stumbled across these washers and dryers, I was deployed. It was my first deployment in Iraq. And because we had stumbled across these washers and dryers and we were in dire need of some washers and dryers, but just because I was like, like I'm tired, I really don't have the time, but yeah, I'll help you. And just because I went and helped him, we got some stuff done. Because of that, like I saw these dryers and I was like, hey, how long have these been sitting here? He's like, oh, wow. Anyway, I can get some of them. He's like, you can have them all. I'm like, all right. And we get clean clothes finally. But it's a longer story than that. But like, yeah, you made me realize like, it's not just about leaning forward into what you're interested in. It's about seizing, because, that's a thing. Seize the day, seize the opportunity, but it's more than just the opportunity that you're interested in. It's like, maybe you don't have to be, right?
Well, and I think I like that because there's the part of you, what you're interested in. Yes. But then there's also the part of, you may not know what you're interested in. You may not know, like you go through like, this is what I'm going to do. And I've told you this before, in the last 8 to 10 months, if we've completely changed our life path, career path, everything, the more I tried to micromanage and like say like, this is what I'm going to do, this is what's going to happen, the less it kept working. Like everything kept failing, and I was learning from it, but it still kept failing. I was like, ah. So finally, when I was finally just like, let's say yes to every conversation, even if I'm not interested in it, like you said.
Yeah.
And that's when the NASCAR thing happened. That's when some other things happened. That's when some things happened that we'll share in the next couple of weeks that you know about but aren't ready to share yet. And so it's just kind of going like this and be like, let's go.
Yeah.
Sure, why not? Like that movie, Yes Man. I mean, there's a whole thing behind it with Jim Carrey.
Oh yeah, that's it.
I mean, I'm not saying yes to do everything, but I am saying yes to every conversation. Like you said,
Yeah.
you never know where a conversation could lead you. For you, it got you clean clothes. Just,
Yeah.
just by saying, hey, can I have those?
Yeah. Man, how many other people are listening? Have you guys experienced that where you weren't interested in doing it, but it was an opportunity or you'd never thought about it before? Like, I don't know. I've never considered skydiving.
I think we might have just lost Graham. Let's see if he comes back in a second. I think he was saying I've never considered skydiving. If anybody's there, please jump in and add your thoughts, comments on what he was saying or on opportunities. If you've ever out there had opportunities or situations where you're like, let's give it a shot and see what happens. So, Graham, I think I lost you. He's probably going to text me here in a second. He is up in Alaska. Maybe they lost power. I don't know. But yeah, I think as if I don't even know if anyone's still there watching tonight because it's 9:30 on a Friday night. But there's so much out there that you could be doing that maybe all it takes is just like, sure, let's have a chat. I know for me, like I mentioned, like there was things I was saying, no, that's not me. No, I don't do that. No, I've never done that. I don't even want to entertain that idea. But the more I just kind of kept saying, sure, why not? Let's give it a shot. And then eventually being more ready in those opportunities. And for me, it wasn't always being ready, like I knew exactly what I had to be ready for. Is more about being ready to just say yes and being ready to take action and try it. And I think that's probably where I was going to earlier. The beginning of the show was being ready just to take action, being ready to try something new, to try something different, and then just see where it goes and see what happens. And if it doesn't work out, stop. Like you control your life. If you don't want like that thing, move on. If it doesn't work the way you want it to, move on. And that's the beauty of, I mean, you're starting to see that now with in the career field of the great resignation. People are starting to leave because they're not happy in their jobs. They're not happy in what they're doing. And maybe be aware of what you're going into. And if you're going to take that risk, know what comes with that. We took a huge jump this last year. And there's times where I'm just like, bleh. I'm just kind of hurtling, like, what are we doing? But we knew the risk of doing what we did. So be aware of the decisions you make and what the consequences could be. But try something new. Lean into something that you've never done before. As my friend Steve Sims says, get uncomfortable. Like he made me extremely uncomfortable the last couple of years, having me try different things that were completely outside of my realm, and just get uncomfortable and see what happens. And we might have Graham back.
Yeah, we lost power for a minute and our internet hasn't started back up. So I hopped back in on my hotspots. Yeah.
Rock on. I just kind of tied off what you're saying about, I mean, you can jump to what you're saying about skydiving.
Yeah. Skydiving. I don't remember now.
Go talk while I clear my throat.
Yeah, go talk. Go talk. Yeah, opportunities, seizing them, and getting after things that maybe you're not interested in. That's like I've never deliberately thought about that. I think seize the opportunity, seize the day, seize the moment has maybe become, it's cliche. It's something we all say, like, or we say it in the moment, seize the moment, but it's not something that we deliberately, think about. Or maybe it is. I don't know. Is there some like guru stuff around that of like finding opportunities? Just say yes. That stuff, like you were saying, the yes day. Like there's that new movie out, Yes Day, where the parents have to say yes to everything.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah. So like,
that's a trend on TikTok too.
is it really?
Like one of the husband or wife or partners or whatever, a spouse, and will say like, "All right, whatever you want today, we're gonna do it." And they'll go like buy a motorcycle, they'll go to the zoo, they'll do whatever, all these crazy things by just saying yes and see where it takes them. You reminded me of, I don't know where this quote really came from, but and maybe it came from this movie. I only know it from We Bought a Zoo with Matt Damon. Um, but there's the quote about it only takes 20 seconds of courage. And it only takes that 20 seconds of courage, like you said, to do something maybe that you're uncomfortable with, that you've never done before. I think that's the guru side of it all, of like that planning. Like, yeah, you may not like it, you may not work, but if it's something that's not going to kill you, just try it.
That's right.
What's the worst that can happen? Maybe you break an arm. That's okay. Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, skydiving, I'd make sure you're skydiving with people that know how to do it. 'Cause
the
that's
parachute.
yeah, please. Well, skydiving without a parachute isn't skydiving. It's just jumping.
That's just jumping. Yeah.
Well, there was
Man.
Travis Pastrana did that a few years ago.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah.
He jumped out of a plane and then they threw the parachute and he had to catch it. And
Yeah.
man, that's crazy. But he's seizing the day, I guess. That 20 seconds of courage to jump out of that plane. And I mean,
Yeah.
he's like a modern day Evel Knievel, but
Yeah. Yeah.
well,
I was thinking of something else, but yeah, I don't remember what I was thinking.
it's all good.
Yeah.
I think you brought up a good point of just the get uncomfortable, try something that you've never tried before. And one thing I said when you were gone was go rock climb. Chelsea Mega says
Go rock climb.
rock climb.
Yeah.
There you go. In your case, go ice climbing, right?
With a harness
With harness, yes.
and a rope.
Please use a rope and harness if you're unexperienced like I am.
Yeah.
When you left, one thing I did say was being ready isn't always about like knowing what you have to be ready for. Sometimes just being ready to take action. Sometimes just being ready to say, yeah, let me give it a shot.
You know, that's it. Like it's saying, it's just being like I can't tell you how many people that we've trained in Scrum who like maybe didn't know what it was when we told them like, hey, you've really got to come to this training. Like just sign up and come. And you know, probably like day one, they were like, maybe wishing they wouldn't have come, right? Because they're just not those product people. But then probably like towards the end of day one, they're like super glad they came. Day two, they're like so pumped. And then like they're just scrumalicious by the time they left. But like yeah, so like yeah, I think a lot of people around us have experienced that, of just with Scrum in particular, or human-centered design, just going like, I don't know what it is, but sure, I'll listen to what you have to say.
Well, we had that in one of the classes we taught together, where the guy at the table, I thought for sure he was going to like report us for this hoodoo voodoo things that we were doing, teaching folks. And then because the end of day one, he was just like, "Rah." But then by the end of day two, he's like, this changed my life. And it was just him just saying like, let me take this class. It sounds stupid, but I'll give it a shot anyway.
Yeah. Opportunities, lean in. Yeah.
Lean in. And Chelsea did say, use ropes and safe fear conditioning. So yeah, it is important to push yourself to see what you're capable of, because there's that speaking of fear conditioning and kind of putting limits on yourself, there's that clip, I think We Are Giants, or that football show where that kid, that coach puts that kid kind of walking down the football field with the kid on his shoulders and he has to crawl it. You know what I'm talking about? I'll just send you that video. I'll find it. There's this kid, there's this scene in this movie where these football kids are like, these players, not kids, but they're in high school, they're kids, Or just like razzing, like we're already going to lose next week. It's not even worth playing. And that was the captain saying that. And so the coach took the captain aside. It was like, hey, Brock, like, come on, man. Like, you were the heart and soul of this team. You can't be like that. People have listened to you. People follow you. So it was like, how far do you think you can crawl, whatever the term for the death crawl or whatever it is, across this field? He's like, oh, I could probably only make it 20 yards with somebody on my back. He's like, no, you can do it 50 yards. And he blindfolds him. And he's yelling at him the whole time. I will post it, Chelsea. He blindfolds him, and he's yelling at him like, "You got it, keep going, keep going." And because he didn't have limits, because if he didn't have that blindfold on, he would have stopped at the 50-yard line. He would have stopped where he thought, "Oh, I was good," but the coach kept pushing him, and the whole scene is like the players start looking. And the player, Brock, the captain, he finally like collapses because he's got this kid on his back crawling this whole football field. He's like, I can't do it, coach. I'm not going to make it. I'm horrible. I can't even make it to the 50-yard line. No way. And the coach is like, Brock, take your thing off. You're in the end zone, dude. Like, and it's taking those limits off that we put on ourselves. Kind of what Chelsea started talking to, that fear conditioning. You don't know you don't know what you're capable of.
Yeah.
What is the worst that could happen? It might be about having an open mind and willingness to listen to something new. Yeah. There you go.
That's awesome. And that, like, showing that and talking about that with people around you is only going to create like new behaviors out of the team that's around you. So yeah, you're absolutely right, Chelsea. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? And expressing that to everybody that's around you, like, and telling people about the thing you overcame or the opportunity you took advantage of and how it led to, and sharing your experiences. That's awesome.
Yeah. Chelsea's pretty awesome too. She's out there in Pacific Northwest doing great things, helping small businesses do business with the government. So doing great things out there. So, Graham, anything else you want to talk about tonight?
No, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, dude, you going snowboarding anytime soon? You got snowboards behind you.
Everything's melting up here now. It was 45, 46 degrees out today, so everything is melting. It'll refreeze tonight, and the roads will be like a skating rink. But yeah, so no, not snowboarding probably till next season.
Isn't it? It's only like February.
I know.
Anywhere else in the country, 40 degrees is not warm for snow to melt.
Yeah, no, we're not supposed to be experiencing any type of breakup until like usually like March, late March. We're having it now though. It's coming.
Huh. Chelsea does say same here, Graham. Yeah. No good powder, yep.
Yeah, no, and normally I would go, like, we have the mountains right behind our house, so we can drive up, just like 15 minutes away, drive up to a park entrance, and then we just back country hike up the back mountain, and then we can snowboard down. It's a good, like, it's a hard trek up, but it's a fun ride down. But this year it's just been so much like thaw and freeze and thaw and freeze and snow, and so that it's really avalanche dangerous right now.
Oh, so you don't go to like a resort. You just walk to your backyard.
Sometimes, yeah.
Because it's Alaska.
Yeah, because that's way better. It's fun. It's like a different feeling to do backcountry, man. Like, have nobody around you, have no ski lift that got you up there, and just get to the top of the mountain and like take it all in. Like, holy crap, I climbed up here. And then to go down and have no noise around you except for your board cutting through the powder is just like, it's a different thing. Like, I have this like shit-eating grin from like both sides of my shoulders the whole time I'm going down. Like, it's and I'll like stop because it's a really long ride, and it's exhausting because the powder is really deep. So you've got to like try to stay out and on top of the snow. So like you'll stop and take a break, but the whole time I'm just like, and it's just me.
You're doing like a 2-3 hour hike up to just kind of go down for 20-30 minutes or whatever it takes.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. Have you ever done the helicopter? Like jump out of a helicopter snowboarding style?
No, I want to do it though. I want to so bad. And who said don't go walking on Portage Lake?
Mike Lavery?
Yeah, don't do that. Not this year, at least. Like this
No?
year, I don't know. Yeah, a lot of the lakes because of the freeze thaw, and the snow. So the snow has like insulated the ice a little bit. So the ice is really sketchy. But don't go walking on Portage Lake, Mike. You've got a picture of that.
Yeah, we did that. Me, Mike, Chloe, and
Yeah.
Lindy. We did that last year when we came up to work with you on some stuff.
Yeah,
And
last year was great. Walking
Yeah,
Portage Lake all day long.
last year was great is a relative term until you're standing out there on the frozen lake. And people who have never stood on a frozen lake by a glacier, like I've been ice fishing like in the middle of nothing, but like we're going to Portage Glacier and all of a sudden we're walking back and all of a sudden doo, 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 all these noises and it's the freaking ice melting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it
the
was
glacier will break off in front of the lake, like so it'll break off and it'll fall into the water, and it'll when it hits the water, it creates this wave that goes through the ice. So at the end of the season, it's like really dangerous if you're out there like at the wrong time.
Oh
It can be
wow.
really really dangerous because like the whole like it's like an ice wave that just hits.
Oh
It's scary. Yeah.
yeah, that would have freaked
But
us out.
that ping, 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 ping sound of ice is like, yeah, that's sketchy.
Chelsea says she's got a connection for you for heliskiing in Alaska.
Yeah, I'm interested. Yeah, like the reason I haven't done it yet is because it's really costly. Like it's expensive to start a helicopter and fly it, you know. So you've got to get a whole group together to go and do it. So you've got to convince like 6 other people to spend $1,200 each. You know, I think it's something like that. Maybe it's not. Chelsea, yeah. If you got to hook up,
There
I
you
can pay
go.
on soap.
Huh?
I can pay him in soap.
It's soap. Yeah, your wife's soap business. Just huge boxes of soap onto the helicopter.
Yeah, she said I could. I asked her yesterday. I was like, "Hey, I'm doing this event. Like, drop a marker. Hey, I'm doing this event. Can I offer your soap as a prize and do like a giveaway of some things?" And she was like, "Yes, you don't have to ask me. Like, just yeah." So she said, "You don't have to ask, so I can pay for
Anything.
I can go heli skiing and pay for it with soap."
You should stop paying your bills and just send soap.
Send soap.
Just like, and yeah, it's awesome soap. I mean, we had some of it. It's great. It's great soap, Alaskan made.
Yep.
Good times. Yeah. I think we'll end it there. We'll end it on don't walk on frozen lakes unless you know the conditions. And if you're going heliskiing, try to pay it in something else other than money.
Money. Yeah. Cool, man.
Well, thanks for coming on. You know the drill. Don't hang up. And then everyone else, this is just an impromptu, having fun tonight. Money laundering. There's a soap pun in there somewhere.
Yeah.
It's not it's not laundry soap.
Sell it to the government.
Sell soap to the government. Is she ever tried to get in like base stores or anything?
No, she hasn't tried that. She hasn't went down that road yet. She's really in more like smaller boutiques right now, and that she's looking at doing like the Target thing. Target offers that, like partnering with local businesses and that.
That'd be cool.
A couple other things. Should be cool.
That'd be cool. Well, now you're gonna start giving it away all the time, so it'll get even bigger.
Yeah, I'm gonna pay for stuff with it. So
pay for soap transaction. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining. This is just a fun impromptu chat tonight. Just on whatever, because we can.
Yeah, man.
That's how it works. So, Graham, don't hang up. Everyone else, have a good night. Have a great weekend. And see you next time. And maybe Chelsea will talk about board tech on the show, she said. So, apparently she knows a lot about boarding tech. So, it could be a fun chat. We'll see you.
Right on.